Lesson 5 introduces the service transition process called knowledge management. This short lesson has 3 main objectives. First, we'll learn the main objective of knowledge management, and then we'll also learn about the DIKW model, which is used to transform data into wisdom. We'll finish up with a description of the mother of all databases called the Service Knowledge Management System. One challenge that plagues all decision makers is a lack of high-quality information. When you don't have enough data and information, you make decisions based on your gut rather than what you know to be factually true. Knowledge management is a process that helps get the right data and information to the right place, so decision makers can make an informed choice based on fact and numbers, and not just based on their best guess. Knowledge management uses a model called the DIKW model, which stands for Data, Information, Knowledge, and Wisdom. Let's talk about these terms a bit. Pretend you're a service desk manager, and your phone system provides the number of calls made to the service desk each day. Each day, you toss that number into a spreadsheet, and that number then pops onto a graph. How many calls did we get on Monday? This many. This gives you a single data point. It's nice, but you can't really do very much with it. Each day, you plug that day's numbers into the spreadsheet, and now you have several data points. And now things start to get interesting, because now you can see the relationship between these data points, and that's called information. Now that we have this trend, we can draw a conclusion that our call volume decreases over the week. So far, we've taken data and we've transformed it into information by drawing these relationships between data points. But in order to take action on these numbers, we need something more. We need knowledge. Knowledge combines the information from your chart with your own personal experience, insights, and ideas. Thanks to this knowledge, you might decide to move some service desk people off the phones on Fridays and let them work on other projects. You wouldn't have been able to make this actionable decision without the knowledge from the underlying data and information. Knowledge is necessary to take action and to guide the direction of your organization. And in this instance, the organization is the service desk. Wisdom is the final letter in our DIKW model. You don't gain wisdom overnight, but instead over many years of experience. Applying this experience and learning from that will ultimately earn you wisdom. And once you have wisdom, you're now the expert on the subject. On the exam, you'll need to know what DIKW stands for. If you look in the book that came with this DVD, you'll find another image of the DIKW model taken directly from the Service Transition book. Knowledge management is the process that wrangles the mother of all databases, called the Service Knowledge Management System. Look at this thing, it's huge. The Service Knowledge Management System is the tool we use to turn data into information and to transform information into knowledge so we can guide the direction of our organization. Data is stored in any one of these little databases. Here you'll see our CMDBs. We have our supplier and contracts database, our known error database that comes from problem management. And as we learned before, the CMS takes this data and draws relationships between different data types. So we can say now that the CMS stores information. Knowledge happens when you combine information with your own brain power, your own experiences, and the experiences of others. You can see that the SKMS, or the Service Knowledge Management System, takes the information from the CMS and combines it with other things like personnel data, or weather data, or market and news data, or any other data you can think of. This seemingly irrelevant data paints the most complete picture possible. For example, if you want to know why your desktop team closed 22% fewer tickets last year, having a tool that could draw the relationship between the number of tickets closed and the weather might be pretty handy, because then you could see that it was snowing out this time last year and your desktop folks couldn't get to the remote sites as easily. Or if you wanted to know why calls to the service desk have been increasing lately, you might be able to see that HR has just hired a bunch of people who are still learning your corporate environment. The SKMS rolls up the data and the information and combines it with the goodies and experiences found here in your service portfolio. Don't forget that your service portfolio is a tool that prioritizes our investments in IT and manages them for value. So with this information, The Service Knowledge Management System transforms this into actionable knowledge. The SKMS follows the DIKW model nicely. Data is stored here in your various databases, information is stored here in your CMS, and knowledge is stored in your Service Knowledge Management System. But what about wisdom? Wisdom cannot be stored in any tool. It can only be stored in your head. And that fact is something you'll need to know for the exam. Wisdom cannot be stored in a tool. And that, my friends, wraps up our knowledge management lesson, and it also concludes my service transition pontification. Let's move on to Lesson 6, where we'll test our retention with 10 sample questions based on the service transition chapter.